right, what is going on, everybody? It is another episode of Certified McNasty. I am your host, Manasse. We're zooming in today with Jason Adler after a long week. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, our first remote podcast. No technical difficulties at all.
None. We said we were going to start right at 10, and since it's 11, an hour later, we had zero technical difficulties.
You know what? It's just like when we're in the studio. We prep a little bit. We have something to eat.
Correct.
No problem.
We dilly-dally. This is delaying our lunch that we're going to have later at the Bel Air Hotel with your parents, but you know what? We digress and we continue. It was a hell of a week at the PPA Masters. I know you were watching from afar.
Can you take us through like a day at the Masters for Matt Manasse?
It's early in the morning. I got there on a Wednesday night. I was staying with a great host family, so not in a hotel like usual, which is awesome.
No pull-out couch?
No pull-out couch. Great meals. I had a casita, my own space. There was a pool, jacuzzi, nice food. So that part of my life was awesome all weekend. You know, we're doing at least 10 interviews a day, right? At the very least, which it's always more than that. They usually pick another match from Grandstand. We do all the winners on center. But it's not just like, all right, you're sitting at the desk and an interview comes and you do it. You're always having to go to watch matches live, see if you can get any nuggets. You want to do a little research on the winner to know to extract fun information out of them. You want them to laugh on the desk. You want to ask interesting questions. So you're paying attention to every single match all day long. That takes a lot out of you. I was doing a lot of social content there as well for Pickleball TV. Yeah, and it's rinse and repeat. You know, we have 4 days straight.
Are you treating this? Are you treating the day like a tournament player, like having the meal? You know, getting the energy you need in between interviews and stretching. That would actually be a funny BTS thing.
That would. I did something like that when I was doing an MLP like emceeing thing. We did like a fake like how I get ready for my day, and I was doing like vocal lessons in the mirror, and I would do sprints in the parking lot. So it was
I love those old ESPN things they used to do. That's funny.
Exactly. And like running up the stairs with my mic as like a just to get the right weight behind it.
Well, let's talk about the results, or anything that really stands out.
Yeah, I mean the obvious. If someone asked me before the tournament, what are the results? Who's going to win it? I would have said Ben and Gabe. I would have said Ben and Leigh, right? She's going to get her triple crown. She's going to win singles.
Well, you did call the Nike deal, and you did say she's going to come out in triple crown. So that's a win for you, even though some would say that's an easy. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was a ton of pressure on Leigh Waters going into the Masters. The last 3 weeks, all anyone could focus on was what paddle is she going to use and what are we going to see on her feet. And that was answered with Nike and Franklin. But with those ads and with those commercials and the whole world talking about her, at the end of the day, you have to show up to the biggest event in our sport or one of and win. Or else none of it really means anything. And it kind of cheapens all this discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm excited about this Mossy thing because I spoke to Mossy in person and he's excited. So we'll leave that at there. That could just, we're going to challenge Mossy. Yeah. You're doing it.
We might do that at the Epic tournament at Power Play.
I think it's straight up. Mossy said if he's playing well, he thinks he can win. So I don't want any types of, I just think it's, you put on a show and go.
And honestly, this is how confident. Pull a ball out of a hat before we play, but I'm not getting a paddle from Target. That's absurd. No. Anyway.
Mixed doubles was like my favorite event by far. You have so many new partnerships that I love. The Rohrbacher and Will Howells giving Fahey and Staxrud all kinds of issues. Patrick Wynn and Bright obviously could have won that final. But it was really like just high level play. You had so many fans there. That event's been there 4 years. And then now to see the growth of the fan support every year, it's crazy. What was your biggest takeaway?
I would say, obviously results, if you just look at the results, there's no surprises. Yeah, the same people. Okay. But it wasn't like that at all. Anytime I tuned in, mainly doubles related, right, because both, like you said, Hayworth kind of ran away with it. I was pulling for Roscoe, but happy for Hayworth.
Yeah, I've said it all year that I think he is, without a doubt, the best singles player in the world, and it's not even close.
And then Anna Leigh just absolutely annihilated Kate. But I would say every doubles match was interesting. And definitely there was a time there where I put you on the spot in our group chat. I'm like, all right, Matt, call it, because we're in the fourth
Right.
game right now with Hayden and Anna Bright having won 2 sets, 2 games. They're up 2-1. And I think it was around 8-6. I don't remember if they were up or down, but it was a couple side outs. And, it's a make a call right there. And I think you said, obviously it's still going to Ben and Anna Leigh, but I think it made for a very intense and competitive.
And I mean, that match should have been the one that was on
battle.
CBS, right? They picked the men's
Right.
doubles to start the day. The mixed doubles was obviously the marquee matchup. You have the stars of the sport facing off against each other. Obviously the main stars playing with each other, and then Anna Bright and Hayden Patrick, certainly the next level of stardom in our sport. So to me, that should have been on the highlight of the day to start. Ben and Anna Leigh, their superpower, at least Ben's, I think, for me, is like when it gets tough. He spoke on the desk about how he thought he pulled the trigger, and there was some more drives and crashes in Game 5 and all of that. But to me, it was more the solid play and just being who they were. Like I felt like Hayden, that match was, I think, 2 hours, 10 minutes long. So before Game 5, you're already out there an hour and 50 minutes, hour 55 minutes. That last game wasn't that long. I think he thought he had to do too much and like overplay and be the hero. And then the other side, you have Ben, who's just like, all right, I'm going to lock in, and Anna Leigh, who's going to do her thing. So, yeah.
But would you argue though that Hayden got to that point where they're up 2-1 by playing that, so he has to continue 100%. On that
it's
path.
Just so deflating, I think, when you lose that close Game 4 and then you go, okay, here we go. We played our hearts out. We played the best we can play, and it's tied. And now, does the goat rhythm take over? And it clearly did.
They needed to win Game 4. Once Ben and Anna Leigh pulled it out, you knew that it was 100%. It was over.
I was sitting next to, just to give you the insider, I was sitting next to Christian Alshon, and she in VIP. She wins Game 1, 11-1. I love Kate Fahey, by the way. I think she's such a good player and like has the potential to do big things, and already has. But like the way Anna Leigh was playing, I was like, she came out in singles. There was nothing that was close all week long. So singles, she just absolutely dominated. Doubles got into a couple close matches. In the quarters, was down a game, wins 11-4, 11-0. In the semis, Jason, to your point, with Georgia Johnson, Hurricane Tyra Black loses the middle game, rolls away with Game 3 pretty comfortably. Finals, playing a team that they lost to before, and then just dominates, not even close in the final, really, except for Game 1. Mixed doubles, that was the tough one, but she's just too good. Her and Ben figured it out. So she comes away with all this pressure, with these undefeated records that she's had for so long, 40th Triple Crown on the line, everything to lose, but she's a different kind of animal. She's a dog, as Anna Bright always says, and she came out and shows why she's the best, and she's going to be the best for a long, long time. She has 40 Triple Crowns. In my mind, she gets to 50 in 2026.
Yeah, I think Nike knew what they were doing, and they backed, one of the best in any sport we've ever seen. She rises to the occasion time and time again with all of the pressure. And quite frankly, that's what makes she and Ben so good. They both are unflappable.
I agree. That's the type of dominance that you're talking about, is like, all right, can the number 2 player in the world get more than 3 points in the second game of a final after Anna Leigh's been on the court for 4 hours that day?
That's it. Anna Leigh, I mean, she's 18, but still, man, you're mentally and physically drained after mixed doubles, women's gender doubles, and then you got to go out and play singles, which is arguably the much harder grind. But she makes it look easy, and I often just wonder what it's like. I would love to know what it's like to see what her ground strokes look like, and when she's approaching the net. Because there is a huge difference between
against it, to play against it. You mean?
Yeah, and I've seen it up close and live, but to me, I think there's still a huge gap, much like in tennis, between the men's and women's game and how much court they're covering and how hard these strokes are coming.
I mean, I don't think you have to compare her to a guy. I think it's it's just an exercise in stupidity to try to do that. There's level differences, and Anna Leigh is at the top, and it's not even close to number 2, which is I don't know, fortunate, unfortunate. She's a star, and it's great for the sport that she's a star, and I'll just end it there. But I eventually you want to see some women come in and give her a run for money. It's happened in doubles here and there.
All right, and we had both called in the beginning of the year our singles players. I picked Roscoe at the end of the year. You picked Hayworth. Hayworth won. Roscoe got bronze. You have a quick soundbite or something on Hayworth's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all those 3 guys are the best in the sport, right? Jack Sock, Hayworth, Roscoe. Like 1, 2, 3 with how it happened is pretty much how you're going to see it a lot of the year. Hayworth, yes, heads and shoulders above everyone else. He's just like Roscoe, very similar game, but I think his forehand is roped a bit harder. I think he can do a little bit more with it from different parts of the court. I think he moves better at the kitchen line and reads the court a little better, and that's why he's just not losing games. So he's unbelievable. Jack Sock, the improved two-handed backhand, he was moving so well, staying in points longer. Decision making was better. Unfortunate for him, I think he tore a hamstring at the end of the final. He'll probably be out a month if at least. And Roscoe's playing unbelievable ball. I think mentally in that semis just got to him. But you're going to see all those 3 guys, they're top 4 throughout the year, but Hayworth's going to finish 1.
Does Jack assuming he gets healthy, does Jack get any wins?
Jack will win a gold if healthy in 2026 if Hayworth is not in the draw or loses before the final.
If Hayworth's not in the draw. Okay. All right.
And I don't think he can beat Hayworth. Not in 2 out of 3. One game, statement. Yes. All right. I'm not seeing it quite yet.
Interesting. Okay. How far would Paris Todd have gone in this if she was playing?
She could get to the finals. Paris can beat any of women 2 to 5. She is one of those women 2 to 5, but she's not beating Anna Leigh. I think Anna Leigh goes undefeated again this year.
I'm just wondering, you had a lot of interviews on the desk. It was I felt like this was the strongest Masters I can recall. And I wanted to just know if for you, Matt, was there any one moment you can remember from any particular interview that was the most memorable?
The best moment, I mean, the one that kind of like went a little viral on social was with Gabe Tardio.
If you think about Ben Johns, you do think still the best player in the world in doubles, in my opinion, many people's opinions. There's only a few people that get to be in proximity to him. You, Anna Leigh Waters, so much. What have you learned, I guess maybe that's rubbed off in your game and your mentality from being around someone who's really been dominant for this long?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would... Don't take this wrong, but I don't think I've learned much stuff. I think our games are completely different.
It was funny. I thought I asked a really good question, and I thought about it before, he got up there, and there's been so much growth through that team. And I asked him if he's learned anything from playing next to the GOAT, whether it be emotionally, physically. And he goes, to be honest, if I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but to be honest, I really haven't learned anything. It's like, but I think the takeaway for me is that he's learned a lot more than he understands right now. Just from being in proximity to these greats, things are going to rub off of how they prepare, how they are mentally viewing the matches, how they're responding to adversity. That rubs off on you, and you kind of absorb that without even noticing. But no, Gabe is his own player, so I like his, as you put it on the phone, the aloofness.
Well, I think he's the one guy that's the perfect fit for Ben, because he's kind of doesn't know what he doesn't know, and he just signed a huge deal, by the way, one of the biggest, and I forget which brand, Asian, but
Colos.
Thank you. And I mean, he's coming into his own, and I just think there's nobody else that would be a better right side for Ben, and even Ben benefits from that. Yep. Because he can relax a little bit where he might not be able to. So it's gonna be fun to watch those two.
I agree. For Ben, it's like playing with a little brother and playing with someone that, I think Ben's always looking for new motivation or things to like lighten the load, and I think Gabe does that. It's like someone that he can mentor a little bit, and just enjoy the fun, and it eases the load that he's under. In big moments, he doesn't have to be the one to create all the time. Gabe can do a lot of that heavy lifting, and I think it allows him to be even more solid and be, the Ben that he wants to be. He doesn't want to go out of his comfort zone too much and have to take over in every situation. So I totally agree with that.
All right, we'll wrap up the Masters. Quick shout out to our friend that we play with, Pat Buchanan, who won men's 5-0 35 plus and did it without any sweat. So
That's
congrats
right.
to he and his cousin.
He killed the competition. Didn't lose games. He knows he needs to play in the pro or 19 plus, not this 35 plus crap.
Yeah, I think it was his cousin's first tournament, so that was why. But they took care of business, and Ask the Professor segment, Matt. This is a little off our typical topic. I am 46 years old. I have 3 kids, and I'm thinking about getting the old snip, the vasectomy.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd love to get your take on that, and I can tell you about how my consult went.
Well, okay. So my take, how old are you again?
46.
And do you want more children?
As of right now, I'd say I'm good with 3. I don't want to say it's completely done.
And
you never know.
And you could reverse a vasectomy, correct?
You can reverse it, but you're supposed to not plan on that, right? If you do this, you're basically making the decision.
I mean, my advice or my take on that is, if you don't want kids right now, or you haven't met the next right person to have kids with, or whatever it may be, you're probably going to have to be careful when you're doing the act so that doesn't happen. Or if you're not comfortable being careful, or you don't think you can be, then you need to get a vasectomy to protect yourself. From yourself. So those are my 2 pieces of advice. How did the consultation go?
Consultation went, it was it was a rude awakening, because at first they're like, all right, you're planning on never having kids again. And, make sure that you're ready to make this decision. I also just found it interesting. This is going to be weird to talk about, and I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way.
Okay.
I mean, he was a gay man, and that's, again,
Okay.
not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not
Right.
saying anything. It was just kind of almost humorous to me, because I'm sitting here I'm having all these nerves. I'm thinking about things, and he's telling me through everything. There's a whole pamphlet to read through, and then at the end, he's like, okay, now, lower your pants. And I'm like, okay. And there's another doctor in the room there too, who's observing.
Okay.
So it's just uncomfortable. And he gets down there and he's cupping my balls, and he goes,
Did you cough?
yeah, he's asking me to cough and all that stuff. And he's like, I swear to God, just like this, he goes, does your right testicle normally hang lower than your left? And I'm just like, I think so. And just the whole thing really just gave me pause, and I'm just like, all right, I got to think about this. It was kind of funny. I felt like George from Seinfeld, or Woody Allen.
Right. Yeah. Did it move? Did it move?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. The whole subject is it shouldn't be a big deal.
What was the advice that either doctor gave you? Did you explain your situation?
No, well, there was only one that was observing, so he wasn't saying anything. The other one.
Okay. And what did this pink mask wearer tell you?
Yeah, at first it's, letting you know, don't plan on ever getting a reverse. Don't plan on, if you're doing this, you're doing a kind of permanent contraceptive decision. Like you're saying you're not having any more kids. But then you get past that, and then it's like, by the way, I make more money when you do get a reversal, so that's on the table. It's kind of a weird thing there. And you talked about how easy the procedure really is,
right?
And the low percentage of anything going wrong. But at the same time, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of icing your cojones on and off, like 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, like for 2 days. And then no driving.
And did you get to the advice part?
Advice? Well, they're not there to give you advice.
At all?
They don't give advice. They present to you the facts, and it's a personal choice. And at the end, he's like, if you want to set it up, here you go. And in 30 days, we can have this and that. And I'm like,
and so after all of this, where are you in your personal decision making?
I think it's something I'll probably end up getting. I think that I just want to take a little bit more time to think about it. And it's a big decision, but the truth is it's not a major procedure. One of our very good friends has done it and reversed.
Right.
And one of my other old friends did it, and we played in a platform tennis tournament 3 days after.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, which was, I think, a little ill-advised, but I also have to be prepared for at least a week of no pickle
Right.
and no real anything,
Well,
which is something you got to plan.
there's plenty of ice at the Pasta studio where we film our podcast. So, you're
God.
covered there. And maybe that'll give Doug a chance, that one extra week of training. When you come back, you'll be a little rusty. So he'll like that.
Oh, I like that. Maybe that's when Doug needs to pounce.
Exactly.
Oh, I feel so uncomfortable right now.
It's,
But anyway, this is part of life, right? We have tough decisions to make, and walking through that personal experience. So
Adam and Eve. Adam, I heard, had a vasectomy after the first time. So yeah.
Well, I will say, we've had a little trend the last 2 episodes of our games, and how I keep something keeps happening, whether I sleep in or something. So sure enough, I'm getting there. I'm going to be on time. I got pulled over by a cop on Santa Monica Boulevard because you guys are texting me. Maybe not you, but like Robbie and Doug. I'm just looking down on my phone, and I see a cop pull right up next to me. I'm stopped, but I started going, and he's like waiting for me. Yep, pull over.
Come on. Wait,
you knew that.
You saw the cop and you still had the phone in your hand?
No, he was watching me, and I think he was waiting, and I looked up and he saw me look. It was this acknowledgement. I wasn't even moving, but I'm putting the phone down, and it's like,
wait, you're not allowed to look at your phone when you're sitting at a light?
Bro, anything that they want to nail you for in terms of texting and driving, I wasn't parked. We're at a light. We're in traffic. So,
wait. So you're sitting at a red light. You have your phone. You're texting. And he puts on his siren before it's green?
He's just sitting there looking at me, and I've got my phone in my hand.
Okay.
So I don't know how long he was looking at me. Right. And I'm not sitting here saying like, but we're analyzing it too much. The point is...
No, we're not. We need... No. I need clarity here, because you're telling me...
What do you need clarity on?
We need clarity because you're telling me that you're stopped at a light. He's looking at you.
I think he watched me for a while. And at one point, he was just waiting for me to potentially be putting the phone down as I start to go. Because I'm pretty cognizant of that. And I think he even said, I gave you a couple chances or something. Like, I don't even know. Or then he shows me a stack of 40 tickets. So all I know is that I see it. And then maybe as I'm putting the phone down, I start to roll.
I think you were driving and texting.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wasn't.
No,
I'm saying
but you made it seem like he got you when you're at the light, and that doesn't make sense. So I'm not.
Well, he did. It was when we're stopped.
I'm just trying to figure this
and then
out.
Going. It was like we're stopped and then going. Right, and he's just waiting to like.
And how much was that ticket?
Then, I think he said it's the lowest it could be. He was very nice. I still made it on time, but he said it's no moving violation, and he said like, look, just.
How much
out a bunch of these. I don't know. I have to look. I haven't paid it yet.
Okay, it's the lowest it could be. All right,
I think it says it.
That's a brick. That's a brick.
Definite brick.
Any ticket in Beverly Hills sucks.
The brick I'd like to turn into my dink of the week, which is I think I played some of my best pickle, and I went 7-0 that day. One with you, 3 games. One with Robbie, 4 games. We don't have to get into the analysis. All I'll say is, I don't know, Doug might have deleted all that footage, and that's the biggest compliment ever, because if he's not willing to share it...
You played great, and it was not a good day for Doug.
Yeah, I want to see that footage. I don't know that I ever will.
We're never going to see that footage. That footage is in a vault somewhere.
Doug, he deleted it. He deleted it. What else we got, Matthew?
So this is an interesting topic, Jason Adler.
Yo.
So, OnlyFans, because when I think of you, I think of OnlyFans. Okay? So,
that's right.
Because just you're that guy. No, I'm kidding. So, I heard from a friend that someone in the pickleball community, and I won't name names, was approached by OnlyFans to do coaching content. Nothing naked, nothing risque, but pickleball coaching content. And I heard they were offered a sizable figure, a 6-figure deal guaranteed to do this coaching content, which is serious money. And I heard the potential for way more and matching certain amount of figures coming in the door. My take on it, I think I would have probably taking that deal.
I was going to say, if it's you, Matt, let's do it.
There's a stigma around OnlyFans that it's not great. It could hurt someone's brand, and I think that's where that's where their mind was at. But I think if you do it in the right way and you spin it, that no one should have a problem with it. If I'm going on OnlyFans and only doing coaching content, and I got my clothes on, and I'm just really trying to build an audience there, what's anyone going to say to me? But I do understand it. There's definitely a stigma. I mean, is that how you would operate in that situation?
I don't know anything about OnlyFans other than the fact that I hear.
How many subscriptions you have?
I swear, like, I've seriously never been on it, but I've heard, I have friends who rent their units to OnlyFans and they pay their entire year's rent up front in cash. I've heard women making, women I haven't heard about, but making like millions of dollars a month.
Millions.
A month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is going on here? And look, credit to them if they're actually trying to say, look, we're not just into a risque. Yeah. We are a real platform for teaching. And if they're trying to go more wholesome or at least do that, I don't see anything wrong with it if you control your content.
And I don't either. And I think like there's chef cooking content on there. Like OnlyFans is a big chef platform where people teach you how to cook.
I mean, it's OnlyFans. That's what it's called. It doesn't have any implication.
It's a fan in any line of work. For me, if I'm offered that deal, I'm taking it.
Matt wants to take his clothes off. He's like, look at this.
No, but I may have to go, around this person and figure out if I can get a contact at OnlyFans and start making some pickleball content, because look, the check is good. And if I can make content that people love, then that's even better, right?
Listen, whatever you can do to connect with people out there, as long as you're not hurting anybody or violating any laws, it's a free country. So
OnlyFans, only McNasty.
Only Bristol Farms. All right, so that's interesting. Okay, Matt, I heard about at the Australian Open, there's some guy that won some slam event and won like over $1 million. What was that all about?
So yes. So honestly, we should do this in pickleball, and I think it would be electric. In Australia this year, they had a 1-point slam, so anyone could enter. I don't know how much money it was to enter, or what the criteria was to enter. But like Alcaraz was in the draw, Sinner was in the draw, all the top women were in the draw. But you have 1 point, so you get up there, and I don't know how they did who serves or who receives, but you have 1 point. And it ended up coming down to Jordan Smith, who was clearly like a good junior or played college or whatever, but not a pro. He has like a real job. And then this other girl who's like, I think a semi-pro, but not a pro. She beat like Alcaraz on the way to the fight. Like the end ended up being just two like randoms. God. And this guy, Jordan Smith, wins $1 million cash and wins the whole thing in front of, first of all, a packed house. Like the amount of fanfare that was there for this 1-point slam was incredible. And I think in pickleball, that would be really interesting if like you had 1 point. There would for sure be upsets.
What a brilliant idea. So these people are all showing up from all around the world or whatever to play 1 point.
1 point. 1 point and you're out.
And you don't know who's serving, which is monumental in tennis.
Huge. But even in pickle, imagine just like, dude, 1 point, you go out and you're now returning, or you're now serving is the disadvantage. And if I'm Jack Sock and I'm playing some kid and they get it deep to my backhand on the return and I shank a backhand, I'm out of the tournament.
Was it one serve or two? One serve in tennis?
Tennis, I think I'd imagine they just did one, but they might have done two. It would have been.
It should be one.
Was it just
one? It has to be one. With that setup, it has to be one, because otherwise people are going to absolutely like go for broke every time on the first.
Yes.
And then but that's interesting. I want to find out more about that.
I mean, if we did this in pickleball, 1 point, singles or doubles, Do you think we're seeing some upsets? Like, do you think that the best player?
Of course.
You got to.
Of course, but I don't know that I love that there's pros and amateur. Like, that's interesting to me that Alcaraz is in it. I mean, I just think that's weird.
But amazing that a random person won it. Like, and Alcaraz went to social media afterwards, like on Twitter. His first tweet was like this guy's name, like Jordan Smith. Like he like totally was so pumped about it.
I'd want to see the point. I'd want to see these points that are knocking out the pros.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great idea, and I think that pickleball should follow suit and come up with things like that because people will come.
I think at Worlds that would be a really cool place to do that at. Maybe we do it twice a year, maybe one in California in San Clemente and then one in Dallas. I think you would get a lot of people signing up for that. And if there was a cool sponsor, good prize attached, it would be really, really fun.
So in other news, I saw Nico the Lefty, who is now co-hosting with Zane on PicklePod.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan of Zane's for a long time. And Nico the Lefty has just built a following. He's now on there, and I engaged with him, and he responded right back. And I said, love what you're doing. And by the way, Manasse and I would love to lay down a challenge and play the two of you. And he said, let's get it in the books.
Is Nico good?
He is. He's like a 5-0. But, and they joke about this on the pod, he doesn't move.
With my bestie, like everything fun. Big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay.
He's about 260 or 280 pounds. Big guy. And he says he's trying to lose 60 pounds. He's also
heavy?
on a health
He's
quest.
that heavy?
He's a big dude, and he does not move, Matt. And he jokes about it. He's very self-deprecating. But from what I can tell, like, he's got great hands. His brother is a sick player, has played some pro events.
You're going to say his brother's a chef or something, but that's funny.
Yeah, no, They would be tough. I think they would be very tough because Zane's obviously awesome, but I think we would move Nico around.
And then you saw on the desk when I interviewed Roscoe and Jared.
How was that interview?
The interview was good. Yeah, it was great. You know, I asked my questions to Roscoe. Cam got her questions into Jared. I posed the game of or the challenge of, you know, all these podcasts going against each other. Jared was in. He loved it.
Oh, great.
I think hands down we have the best team, definitely the best looking team.
Well, I would say I would not be as cocky, but I like that you're as confident. I think that Travis Rettenmeyer, I don't know who he'd be with. I think Zane and Nico would be tough. And then is Nunnery? I don't know. Yeah. Well, I do like our chances. And I think there should be a pickleball pod, you know, fiasco or tournament or, you know, round robin. I think that could be a lot of fun.
We'll do it. We'll do it right before the 1 point pickleball slam.
There you go.
At the Masters, the juniors are unbelievable. Like, the junior division is growing tremendously, and it's funny because you see these kids, like, first of all, a lot of them look like the pros now. Like, you see a kid in all Yola walking around that like has the same mannerisms as Ben Johns. And you see kids in all Franklin that have the same mannerisms as Hayden Patriquin. You have mini Annalise walking around, and they're like, they're pumping their fists and moving exactly like the pros. So it's like really cool to see that process unfold. But the level is like out of control. Like, these kids are very good. Yeah, Jing is phenomenal. The 14-year-old girl that's here in Southern California, she's very, very good, and speaks like 5 languages apparently. Rex Ty is unbelievable. Rex tripled. He's one to watch. I think as he gets stronger, he's really going to go places. I know he's about to play more pro events. And then, you know, you have the Cassidy brothers who are doing great as well, adding a lot to their game. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see because the next wave is definitely here. Like, the creativity these kids have are nuts. Adler, have you played with any of these youngsters already?
Well, I would say too, yeah, the first thing I would say is the next wave of great players are going to be pickleball only players,
yes,
not tennis backgrounds. I think that's becoming clear. I've played with the Cassidy brothers, who are not only very talented, but a hoot to play with because they're kind of just loud and they get on each other's nerves and they talk trash. So that's fun. And then the Beck brothers too,
Yes.
who I don't know how they performed. I want to ask Julio. I really like those kids. They're a little younger.
Yep.
I think they played 16 under, and the Cassidy's played 18 under, or maybe it's, yeah. So there's a couple really good teams in the LA area, local area, and I'm excited to see how the juniors start to take over the sport and at the college level, and what happens.
Totally agree.
Matt's going to come. We're going to meet my parents for lunch. So this will be interesting.
True.
Matt's going to meet my parents, and they're going to meet Matt. I think I'm more nervous about the former. So we'll see. Meaning,
Do they know who I am?
They wanted me to invite you to lunch.
Okay.
And Doug too, who was supposed to come, but he's got Bella, and I don't know that he's going to.
Is he not coming? He's not going to come.
Well, there's also Tipty and stuff, so I don't know exactly what's going on. So
they're taking us to the Bel Air Hotel.
Yes.
And
doesn't matter where we're going.
Is there a limit on what I can order?
No, but we'll be watching closely. No, I'm kidding. Just know that anything that you order, I told Doug this, comes out of my inheritance. So just keep that in mind. And like I would say, you guys are guests, so enjoy.
Well, no, because normally I was always taught don't go above the hosts what they're getting, right? Stay at that same line. It just looks better. But then like the other night I went out to sushi and I was hungry and the host knew that, and she goes, get whatever you want, like get the all you can eat special, like we want you to, so once I was given permission, I went in. But
I think it's
an interesting
I think it's case by case, and you read the room and you use your best judgment, and I'm telling you, don't worry at all.
I know I'm totally kidding, but I'm excited.
But it is a funny thing. You're right. Like if you want to order a fillet that's $65, $70, and you're seeing everybody order the $35 entrees, you're like, I don't know if I can jump for that.
Exactly.
I get it.
Is there any quirks that I should know about going into this lunch, or are your parents pretty cool?
Yeah, I think my parents are crazy, and I think I'm going to be very embarrassed. So just across the board,
Are they
you're going to be like, now I get why Adler's.
How's my son Jason on the pickleball court? Is he fantastic?
Oh yeah, she'll probably tell you I'm a very good pickleball player, as if you didn't know that or couldn't judge that yourself. She'll be like, he's good, isn't he? Like I'm like, don't embarrass me like this.
Jason
or whatever,
was always the smartest in the classroom, and then he went to Cornell and.
She'll probably mention that.
And but he's on his 2 feet again.
We'll talk about it on the next pod. I'm dreading, but also I think it's going to be good humor to see, how you see where I get certain things from.
Right.
So I kind of want to just let things play out, but I also want to control the narrative a little bit because I'm scared. I'm honestly scared.
I'm excited. I hope they have the type of accent that I just portrayed.
I think we wrap it up.
Let's do it. That was another episode of Certified McNasty, our first on Zoom. Jason, I had a blast. We will see you next week. Obviously, like, subscribe, rip that button. And that was another great episode of Certified McNasty. Listen to us where you get your podcasts. I could do that again if it was horrible.
That was a lot of fun. And I'll see you in like an hour, Matt.
I'll see you. Yeah. I'm going to head there.